Hello, this is Nancy, and today I'm going to talk about the difference between spirit visits and soul visits. I have a lot of people who seem to understand what a spirit visit is, but they're not very well acquainted on what a soul visit is. So we're going to just talk about the difference today. A spirit visit is usually a visit from an entity or a being that is not connected with a physical body, though that spirit may have at one time been a living being and had a physical body. That body is now deceased. And the spirit visits can also be from an entity or a being who has never been born into a body. These may include the creator, source, origin, God, goddess, and that God, goddess thing can be either with the capital G or with the small g, because there are entities that fit into both categories. Angels, archangels, other beings of light. But they may also include beings of the gray and also beings of the dark, and that's a different lecture. We'll talk about them some other time. Any being that consists of energy but no physical manifestation is a spirit, and you can be visited by spirit in many, many different ways. They manifest in many ways. You can feel them, hear them, see them, taste them, know that they're there. And they may appear in dreams, they may appear in your waking hours, and they may do many things to show their presence. Now, in a soul visit, this is something else. A soul visit is when the soul of a living being comes to call on you. And this can happen when you're sleeping, it can happen when you're in meditation, it can be picked up in a vision, and sometimes this can be from a loved one who is reaching out because they are in a coma, they're near death, they've had an accident, and they may have a severe illness or some other dire situation where they can't communicate with you in any other manner. I'm going to talk about a personal experience with a coma. I had a person who was in the hospital and had been there many times in their lifetime and always come back home, whether they were cured or not. And this time this person went into the hospital, and I knew they were in the hospital, but I did not know the situation at the time. So in the middle of the night, I was visited. There were two angels, and then the soul of that person was being accompanied by them. And because of this accompaniment, I knew that this person was going to be taken back to their body. They were still a living being. And what happened is they came to show me that they had released this person from all the dark energies that had been hanging off of them, and cleaned them up, and that this person was preparing to go home to Source or God or Allah or whoever you wish to call the creator, the origin of all being. There are other times when spirit can give you a view of a person's soul and what is going on with them. Now, this is also a living being, and I'm not talking about where you are actually looking at a person's aura or you're looking at what's going on with them for a healing situation or anything like that. This is when you are in a dream state, a vision state, a meditation state, and the spirit decides that you need to take a look at the condition of this person's soul. This person was also once close to the family. It has kind of distanced themselves now, but Spirit decided that this was going to be a good example for me. And I was going to take a look at the soul, or what I would call the house of the soul. And the house of the soul is, it may take an appearance of a house, but it may not take an appearance of a normal house. So this person's soul had many, many different levels, let's say floors, that you had to go through. And these floors in this person's soul was just full of clutter. It was full of baggage. It was full of furniture, things just piled on top of each other, trying to get up the stairs from, and there was no elevator in the soul, but trying to get up the stairs from one level to the other was horrendous. It took a lot of climbing to get up there, and I wasn't the only one in there. There were other angels and spirits in there also that were showing me around to help me from one area to another. And it's like climbing, I'm climbing, I'm climbing, and this person has so much karma, this person has so much baggage, this person has all this stuff that they're not letting go of, and they were showing me all of these things. And we finally get to the top level, the penthouse area, and it was actually just a small room with this bar in it and seating, and it was pure white, but it was such a small room. You couldn't really call it a penthouse other than the fact that it was at the top level of all of this clutter. And they said, this is the man's room, and this is their personal space. And it's just like, the personal space is really small. So that's what they showed me with that soul visit. I knew exactly whose soul it was because they had showed me the person at the very beginning of the tour through this person's soul, and they were just kind of sitting there sulking. They really didn't want to expose themselves in this way, but Spirit had decided this was to happen. And so this was one of two types of experiences that I have had in recent years. I've had several others. So this is what I have personally experienced. Now, you may have your own experience, your own story, which is fine, and it adds to the variety of the different ways that the soul visits versus when the spirit visits. And you just need to remember that a soul visit is from a living being, a living person, and it could be a human being, it can be an animal, and a spirit visit has no physical body or being attached to it.